Okay, hello everybody, and welcome back to the next episode of our Pokemon Draft analysis, where we go into individual Pokemon and look at their usefulness and usage in draft format. So this time we are looking at Kyurem-Black, which is a very interesting Pokemon, and over to Jayem to give us a bit of an overview.
The first thing you see when you look at Kyurem-Black is that a massive 170 base attack stat and the sort of moves that you can pull off using that. You've got access to things like Outrage, Dragon Claw, Free Shock, though that is kind of risky because you're going to need to back a Power Herb or an ICMZ if you want to get any sort of usage out of that. But looking past that, even without that 170 attack, you've still got 120 base special attack and you've got the moves to back it up in that situation. Draco Meteor, Dragon Pulse, Ice Beam. They all work on Kyurem.
Yeah.
Other things looking at Kyurem, you've got Mold Breaker, by which I mean Terrorbolt. They're the exact same thing. So when you're packing Kyurem, you can bypass so many abilities. You can bypass Thick Fat. Venusaur hates this thing. You can bypass Levitate. You can bypass Sturdy. You can bypass Volt Absorb. So many moves that Kyurem has just completely go through so many defenses that rely on this. And looking at its other stats, it's not a single stat that it really lacks in. Its lowest is base 90 special defense, which is highest stat for most Pokemon. 95 speed allows it to be a very credible threat with its Choice Scarf as well. So yeah, that's the sort of things you're going to get when you draft Kyurem.
Alright. So next, JM touched this a little bit, but movesets. So, you know, it's like Kyurem is quite a versatile Pokemon, but it does sort of, you're going to expect an offensive set when you see a Kyurem, or if you're bringing one yourself. Typically, if it's running ICMZ, it'll be running Free Shock, because Free Shock is 140 base power, so it's a really strong attack. But it also gets Fusion Bolt. There's like Ice Power, even Earth Power. Ice Power. Wait, what was I saying? Ice Beam. And also Roost for some, good. What's
Recovery.
Recovery. That's the word. But it also gets moves like Iron Head, Flash Cannon, Stone Edge. There are some other options. If you're need some certain tech, or I don't know, you're just feeling weird. I don't know. So you can actually run dual screens if you really want to, but it also gets stuff like Shadow Ball and Claw, Zen Headbutt, Psychic Dragon Tail, and can run Flyonium Z with Fly. So yeah, it also gets Hone Claws, which is some nice setup if you really want it. But yeah, that's basically it for moves.
Right, so now we're moving on to why you should draft Kyurem-B. Mostly because you like hitting things really, really goddamn hard. ICMZ Free Shock is a base 200 power move. One time usage, but goddamn, anything that gets hit by that thing is not surviving it. Unless it resists it. Which is quite a lot of things. Anyway, even if you haven't got ICMZ, it's a very powerful mixed attacker that gets access to a lot of moves, like we've just gone over. And it can very easily fill the role of Cormon in the Steel, Dragon, Fairy trifecta. It pairs very, very well with Steel types, especially. Because Kyurem don't like being hit with Steel types. However, and it's also got things like great stats across the board, so it's got the bulk to back things up, it's got decent amounts of speed, it's really no weak point at any point in its stats. It's very well rounded in that regard.
Yeah.
So that brings us on to
sets. So these are just some example sets. There are obviously more sets that you could run, but these are just some like popular ones and some good ones that people run. So the first set is the Physical Nuke. So you can run ICMZ with Free Shock, which, like JM said, is 200 base power, right?
140 for base Free Shock. ICMZ.
Oh yeah, but with ICMZ, so.
Yeah, 200.
Yeah. But you can also run Power Herb, which means the recharge will end immediately after Free Shock, so that's nice. And you can just give it these other moves, so it can have some more coverage. So typically you want to run Adamant or Jolly, probably Jolly, to make sure your nuke isn't just dying immediately. No speeding. Yeah, so on to the next set is Mixed Attacker. So this is just to, hit things hard, but also have a bit more versatility and a bit of a stronger overall moveset with like Life Orb, Expert Belt. And then there's the Revenge Killer. So this is just to come in against, sort of threats that you need to finish off, like a Revenge Killer basically. And with Choice Scarf, it can do that quite well. And it's kind of got a similar moveset to the Mixed Attacker. But yeah, and then this final set is the Sub-Roof set. So, your opponent might expect an offensive Kyurem and so bring a certain counter. But if you can click Substitute on their switching, that can completely throw them off. And it's quite a good bait set. And with Roost, you can also have some good recovery, whilst also hitting them hard with Ice Beam and Nerf Power. So yeah, that's it for sets, and on to checks and counters.
Now, sadly, Kyurem has an Ice typing, which is horrendous but defensively because pretty much everything hits it super effectively. And what Kyurem really fears is stuff that can outspeed it and hit harder super effective attacks, which unfortunately is a lot. Even stuff down in the lower tiers as well, even things like Cobalion can outspeed in the one-hit KO of Close Combat. Another thing you need to be careful when you're drafting Kyurem is the fact that it is hit by every single kind of hazard, and rocks do 25% on it, so you really don't want to be switching this thing in and out constantly, because it's going to be taking damage pretty much all the time, which is not that good, really. Steel types also resist both of its stabs and a lot of its other attacks, but they do have to be wary of Power and Focus Blast in those particular situations. Also, fast fairies like Mega Diancie, Mega Gardevoir, and Tapu Koko are particularly threatening. Koko maybe less so because Kyurem can definitely hit it incredibly hard with her power, and it's not going to want to take that at all. But the others, yeah, they can really do a huge dent in Kyurem's defenses. So Kyurem is very powerful, but you do have to look after it properly, otherwise it could be down the drain before you realise it.
Yeah. Okay. So next we have potential draft partners. So the thing with Kyurem Black is it's going to be one of those, round one picks really. Something you get early on, something you got to build your entire team around, because Kyurem Black can just hit everything so incredibly hard that you're going to want to just build your team around it so it can really do well. So what's good for Kyurem Black is steel types. So a good steel type, for example, is Celesteela, just because Celesteela is incredible in draft. But really any steel type will work well for Kyurem. Shout out to Doublade, which will resist all of Kyurem Black's weaknesses. So Doublade is a really good partner for Kyurem Black if you're looking for a good steel type to go in that core. You probably also want a good physical wall to resist fighting. So there's a few here like Slowbro, Toxapex, even Mega Sableye and Gliscor. But also some late game cleaners, because once Kyurem Black's really dented the opponent's team, you really want something to finish off any team members that might be low or anything like that. Some good revenge killers really. But yeah, that's basically it for draft partners. So, verdict. We've ranked, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good Pokemon.
We ranked it as A+. So it is one of the best wall breakers in draft. Just make sure you support it well. And yeah, watch the bodies pile up, as Jayem put it.
Pretty much. It's the sort of thing that requires care, but as long as you can take care of it, you can really see the impacts, because Kyurem is essentially almost a guaranteed kill, especially on teams that are unprepared for it. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for watching, everybody. That was it for this episode on Kyurem Black. Yeah, and goodbye.
It's alright.